Nakisa hates Jake Paul because he wants him dead, I think. That's what it comes down to. Me and JB had a meeting with Nakisa and he was giving big ones, which I did not understand. He's not really like, come on. But like, he really wants to see his own friend that he calls my childhood friend hurt. That is wrong, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He's chasing the money. So he's just gone straight to the money and put my man in the firing line against a heavyweight champion who can hurt him and literally cause him problems in the future as well.
Khan says it feels like people are chasing a giant payday instead of worrying about long-term safety. He warns that a heavyweight like Joshua hits with real, lasting damage. Unlike lifelong pros with years of conditioning, Jake comes from a completely different background. Khan says boxing must be respected. One clean AJ punch, the same kind that slept Ngannou, could end far more than Jake's boxing ambitions.
Look, if AJ hits him with a shot like he hit Ngannou and knocked him clean out, I mean, even Ngannou would knock Jake Paul out. But that just shows, like, but you can't mess with the sport. Boxing, you can't mess with boxing. Oh, boxing is a sport that you have to respect. You're always at one punch away from getting hurt, and something bad's gonna happen one day, and they're gonna regret it. They're gonna say, "Oh, why did we take that fight?" It's not like they need the money. And if I was AJ, and so a YouTuber come to me, who's tiny, who's smaller than me, and weaker than me, and has no experience at all, you think I'm gonna say no to it?
He admits some YouTubers like Slim have shown real skill, but he says this matchup crosses a dangerous line. One mistake against an elite heavyweight could lead to a tragic outcome for everyone: the fighter, the promoters, and the sport itself. His message is simple: crossover boxing is fun, but it can't distract from the realities of danger. Boxing isn't about views or viral moments. One wrong punch can rewrite everything.
Ends this YouTube boxing, because in a way, someone is going to get hurt badly, and this could be the fight that someone gets hurt so bad that they will never ever get sanctioned to ever fight again. You know what I mean? But it's true though, innit, bro? Like, honestly, like, the sport is tough, man. And it's hurt and damaged a lot of people that have been boxers, and let alone, and these are people that are used to taking punches.
Picking up from Amir Khan's warnings, the TalkSport discussion takes a more analytical angle, looking at both the financial and competitive sides. Liam Smith reacts with excitement to the spectacle of Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, saying that for AJ fans, this looks like a straightforward, financially smart fight after years of elite-level opponents.
Actually helping a lot of female fighters and women boxing as well by putting his promotion on, so I respect him massively. But if Anthony Joshua was to lose to Jake Paul, it would be the biggest upset, travesty, whatever you want to call it, in boxing history. So he has to look past Jake Paul.
Well, let's hear from Anthony talking to the media in Miami. One of the questions that was put to him was about his lengthy stint outside of the ring.
So I took 12 months out of the game, realigned my vision board, and consolidated a lot of things, trimmed down my team. And I said I need 12 months to do that, so I took 12 months out of the game. And from September 21st, if you think about it back then, to now, December, that's 3 months. So most people take about 8 to 12 weeks to prepare for a fight, so this was like a preparation for a fight.
The panel points out that Joshua has confirmed a 245-pound fight weight, one of his most effective frames. He's removed distractions, switched trainers, and trained away from London. While they respect Paul's promotional success and his role in elevating women's boxing, they agree the skill levels here are worlds apart. They say if Joshua loses, it would be one of the most shocking upsets in boxing history and raise serious questions about his quest to regain a world title.
Going to be at 225.
245.
245.
245.
But again, there's no rehydration.
No rehydration clause. 245. That was the last time that he boxed Alexander Usyk, which was back in, what was that, 2022? I believe he weighed 245. He was in training camp anyway. He was going to be fighting on the undercard of this fight on Saturday night with Devin Haney. He was going to be fighting on that undercard, 22nd. So he's in shape. His weight's down anyway. So making 245, actually,
he has to be that done.
Yeah, but that's his best weight anyway, Anthony Joshua. That's where he's more athletic. You know, he's got more movement and whatnot. And no disrespect to Jake Paul here. You go, like, you know, without looking past Jake Paul, but...
The conversation then turns to risk and reputation. TalkSport analysts note that Joshua's management changes, camp adjustments, and mental reset are all part of a long-term rebuild after tough setbacks, but none of that should be necessary for Jake Paul. All the pressure is on AJ to produce a quick, clean knockout. Anything less invites criticism and even accusations that the fight is staged. Paul saying he's ready to die in there might sell tickets, but it's also a reminder that heavyweight boxing is no place for inexperience. With AJ expected to deliver a statement like he did against Ngannou, the panel concludes that only a decisive early finish will protect the sport's credibility.
Statements about I'm ready to die in there and I'm going to bash you up and stomp all over you give you any cause for concern about the sport?
He's a YouTuber, isn't he? So like they want them views. His life's been about views, and taking this fight with Joshua is views for him. So even if he loses in first round, he can always say I've been in with Joshua.
Yeah.
So he's at a win-win. It's Anthony Joshua what's under pressure. He's got to knock him out fast.
Adding to those concerns, former world champion Chris Algieri gives a grounded fighter's perspective. Even after the Miami press conference, he struggles to view Joshua versus Jake Paul as a legitimate matchup, a former heavyweight champion facing a novice whose main strengths are business and digital influence. Algieri says in a real 8-round fight with 10-ounce gloves, Joshua's power, Olympic pedigree, and recent knockout of Ngannou make it nearly impossible to imagine Paul surviving the first round unless unusual rules are involved. He says Joshua's calm demeanor could be confidence, or it could be a dangerous misread. He rejects the idea that AJ is chinny.
If it happens, it happens. Boxing is the wild, wild west. Anything can happen, and especially with Jake Paul and his money and his ability to make things happen, it's very, very possible. But I don't see how this fight ever makes it out of the first round. And if it does, then comes into question of, is this a real fight? I mean, have the rules set come out yet? Have we heard whether or not Anthony Joshua has to wear, his boots on the wrong feet if he can't throw his right hand, if he has to be, set up to a shock therapy if he throws punches? Is there anything said yet, or is this a real fight? Do we know?
8 rounds, 10-ounce gloves, 3 minutes.
Algieri says you have to land clean first, and Jake couldn't even do that against a faded Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Closing distance on a true heavyweight is a puzzle even experienced fighters fail to solve. Then comes the conversation about legacy. Algieri says he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, even for big money. His career deserves respect, and he won't take part in a sideshow. He doesn't blame Joshua for taking a profitable comeback fight after surgery and a tough loss, but warns the pressure is entirely on him. Not stopping Paul quickly would damage his reputation and spark immediate talk of a fix. And calling Joshua chinny ignores reality. Being hurt by world-class punchers isn't the same as being vulnerable to a natural cruiserweight YouTuber. Even if Paul lands, hurting a 240-plus pound champion is a completely different challenge. Algieri says the first true heavyweight punch Paul absorbs could end the whole experiment.
The fight, if Jake Paul offered you millions and millions, would you get in the opposite corner to him and have that opportunity?
No. No. It's a sideshow.
You're probably the first fighter to say that.
Yeah, because first of all, I had a real career, and I respect the sport, and you're not just gonna pay me, so use me to come in there and go put this fight together. I'm not an active fighter. I haven't been for almost 5 years. To come off the couch just because of an opportunity, because there's a lot of money thrown at me. Listen, I respect what I've done in my career. Listen, if we were in my career and I was fighting and training and that came up and there was a reason for it, that's a whole different thing. Even Anthony Joshua, I don't knock Anthony Joshua at all for this. He's coming off of a loss. He's coming off of an elbow injury, and he's looking to get back in. This is a perfect get-back fight. 8-rounder, and I get to make a ton of money.
After everything, legends warning disaster, pundits calling it a circus, and Jake Paul smirking like he cracked boxing's algorithm, the countdown to a night of pure chaos has officially begun. Either AJ walks in, lands one thunderous shot, and shuts down the YouTube boxing era before Jake can finish his ring walk, or Jake Paul creates a glitch in reality so shocking the internet collapses under the weight of disbelief. That's the thrill. Half the world thinks it's the easiest paycheck of Joshua's career, the other half fears the biggest upset since gravity. If Jake survives a few rounds, he earns respect. If AJ lands clean, Jake won't just fall. He'll wake up wondering why the ring suddenly has 2 moons. So what's your verdict? Is Jake rewriting boxing history, or is Anthony Joshua sending him back to unboxing gadgets? Drop your predictions below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters.